Hello everyone, welcome back to Upside Down Data. In this video, I'm going to take a look at an on-chain indicator called SOPR that can tell us about the ongoing capitulation for Bitcoin that we're witnessing. We'll use the SOPR to speculate a little bit about where we are in the market cycle and when the capitulation might be coming to an end. So if you guys like the content, give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, and follow us on Twitter. We put out regular updates there about our risk indicators and more. So before looking at the SOPR, let's take a quick look at Bitcoin's price chart. I have the weekly up here, and as you can see, Bitcoin finally, mercifully, broke its streak of red weekly candles. There was a streak of 9 that ended last week, and we're now on day 2 of a new week, which is slightly red so far, with most of the week left to go, as Bitcoin tries to put in its second straight green week for the first time in months. It's clear from the chart that we're looking at a potential bottom formation. Emphasis here is on the word potential because there are no guarantees. If financial markets in general get spooked by something, Bitcoin could easily reverse to the downside. So as we've been saying a lot on this channel, crypto in and of itself might be ready to reverse to the upside and recover. But the stock market and financial markets in general have to allow that to happen. So this is a potential bottom formation, as indicated by this long shadow, this wick a few weeks ago, which was supported by substantial volume. This indicates that buyers met the price as it came down into the mid-20Ks region. And now we're starting to see the price start to grind sideways and potentially start to reverse to the upside, this kind of rounding action, which also supports the idea of a potential bottom formation. So again, the stock market and financial markets in general have to allow reversal on crypto to happen. But if they do, Bitcoin is looking like it could be getting ready to accelerate to the upside, with a next obvious resistance to look at being at 35K. If that happens, we'll want to see how much volume comes in to support the move. So far, the slight reversal over the past week and a couple of days has been weak in terms of volume. It looks like the bearish momentum has been running out, but there is not much evidence yet that bullish momentum has come back. Now, one thing that's interesting to consider right now is where we are in terms of this famous meme of the market cycle of motions. You guys have probably seen this floating around the interwebs before. If we look at this chart, I think most people would agree that Bitcoin right now is somewhere between panic and disbelief. That post bear market phase, or maybe toward the end of the bear market, and this sideways chop as the market gets ready for a new cycle. The question is, where exactly are we in this schema? Are people panicking right now, and do we still have further down to go? So are we still in that panic phase, or potentially in the capitulation phase? Is that bottom forming, a capitulation type of bottom? Are we now in a kind of sideways chop that could last for a while as people cycle through their feelings of anger and depression? These are the kinds of questions. Now, keep in mind that these are just rules of thumb. These are just heuristics. They're shorthands about tendencies that repeat themselves across market cycles, but every market cycle does not have to play out this way. Still, I do think there's enough truth to this kind of way of thinking about it that it's useful to consider. And in my opinion, what's happening right now is that Bitcoin is in the process of forming a capitulation bottom, in the process of doing so. And that means that many investors are still running for the hills. They're looking for opportunities to exit the market. Or they're just getting freaked out and panic selling when the market gets volatile. So to support the idea that we're in the process of forming a capitulation bottom, I'm going to pull up the SOPR. So let's do that. Here we have the SOPR. SOPR stands for Spent Output Profit Ratio, and it simply shows whether people are selling their coins in profit or loss on average. The blue line here on this chart is the Spent Output Profit Ratio, and when it's above 1, that means that coins are being sold on average in profit. When it's below 1, that means that coins are being sold on average in loss. So this chart goes back to 2019, but let's zoom in a little bit for higher resolution. Just a little bit. And what becomes clear is that although the SOPR hovers around zero for extended periods of time, you can see that, but it also spends some stretches of time bouncing off of zero in either direction. So, for example, back in early 2021, the SOPR kept on bouncing off of zero to the upside. And what this reflects is that people were taking profits during the bull market. As the price rose, people were selling their coins at a profit. But now, over the last 2 months, SOPR has been bouncing off of zero to the downside. And that's the first piece of evidence I want to show you that people are capitulating. And what the fact that SOPR keeps getting rejected by zero tells us is that people are looking to get out of the market at break even if they can, or even at a loss if they must. So that's not all. CryptoQuant, which is the website I'm using to pull up the SOPR here, will also let you look at SOPR divided by how long the coins have been held. Short-term coins have been held for less than 155 days, and long-term coins have been held for 155 days or longer. If we pull up the short-term holder SOPR, it looks pretty similar to the overall SOPR. There was a dip in May as short-term holders capitulated, and now the SOPR has been getting largely rejected off of zero as people get out of the market at their cost basis or lower. So this just kind of reinforces the overall SOPR. But if we pull up the long-term SOPR, here we see a different pattern. And what we see here is that the spend output profit ratio for long-term holders, again, that's people who have been holding their coins for at least 155 days. Here we see that there's been a long-term trend. The SOPR has been declining at a pretty steep rate for more than a year now. So these are people who have been holding their coins for 5 months or more, and that's been becoming less and less profitable for a while. So this explains a lot, I think. It shows that the bear market we've been in has been hitting long-term holders hard, and eventually it erased their gains entirely. Long-term holders have been capitulating for months. But I will leave you with a bit of hopium, because if we look at just the last couple of months here, we can see that the long-term holder SOPR has double bottomed off the 0.6 level, which is also coincidentally where it bottomed back in March of 2020. Both the fact that the SOPR reversed there in 2020, the previous macro market cycle bottom, and also the fact that it has now held this 0.6 level on the SOPR twice in recent months as support, those both seem to be good signs for the prospect of a Bitcoin recovery and the possibility that this capitulation bottom is coming to a slow, grinding, halting end. Anyway, hope you guys found this useful. Thanks for watching.